Finding the perimeter of polygons using the distance formula. So to start, struggling with technology here. How do I find perimeter using the distance formula? So we have the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we have our right triangle where c is always the side across from the right angle, and then a and b are the legs. We have the distance formula where given the coordinates x1, y1, x2, y2, we can do this. I know that a perimeter is when I add all the sides up. So how can I use those formulas to find the perimeter of a shape? So in this first example, you're given a triangle with vertices. Those are the corners or the points, and those are my 3 coordinates. So I have A at 7, 4, B at 2, -5, and C at 5, -1. So hopefully as you look at this, you can recognize that I have to find AB. I need the distance of AB, or the length of AB, and then I'm going to need to find AC, and then I need to find BC. So as I look at those, I'm going to need to put in the coordinates for each one. So A is -7, 4, and B is 2, -5. So that means this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So when I do this, AB is the square root of x2, which is 2 minus -7, plus -5 minus 4. Now it's really important that you put this in the calculator as a sentence, the whole thing. Trying to do it individually, trying to just do the parentheses, and then squaring it and working in pieces when the calculator will do it all for you, eliminates errors. So then we're going to simplify that and get that that is 12.7. So that's the length of AB. So this side is 12.7. So then we're going to find AC, where A is again -7, 4, and C is 5, -1. x1, y1, x2, y2. So then I have the square root of 5 minus -7. Squared plus -1 minus 4 squared. And that gives me 13. So then I can put a 13 on that side. And then finally, when we find BC, B is 2, -5, and 5, -1 is C. So again, x1, y1, x2, y2. So that is the square root, my square root lost its little check mark thing, of 5 minus 2 squared plus -1 minus -5 squared. Don't forget as you're doing this that this negative is always here. Sometimes the number has a negative, which means you get a second negative, but make sure that there's always at least one. So then the square root of all of that is the square root of 25, which is 5. So now all I've done so far is find the perimeter. So then to add it all up and be totaled, the perimeter of triangle ABC is 12.7 plus 13 plus 5, which is 30.7 units. That's all you're going to do, is you're going to find the length of each side, and then you're going to find the perimeter by adding those lengths up. Now sometimes you're going to have to graph it. So what does that look like? So I have a parallelogram. That means I'm going to be making something with four sides, and they're not going to be vertical or horizontal sides. So I need to graph my points. So we start with P, and we go left 2, down 1. So there's P. And then Q is down, or left 1, down 5. And then R is right 5, up 3. And S is right 4, up 7. So then we connect the dots. And we get our parallelogram. Now, even though it has 4 sides, I know that those 2 sides are congruent, and I know that the 2 ends are congruent. So I only have to find the distance of 2 of those sides, and then I can just double it to get to that. Also pay attention that this time we're rounding to hundredths, which is 2 decimal places instead of 1. So I'm going to choose to find PS. So I'm going to find this piece first, where P was -2, -1, and S is 4, 7. So that's 4 minus -2 squared plus 7 minus -1 squared, which is 10. So PS is 10, which means that QR is also 10. So then I'm going to find the other one. I'm going to find PQ. So PQ, where P is again -2, -1, and Q is -1, -5. So that's the square root of -1 minus -2 squared plus -5 minus -1 squared, which is 4.12. So this is 4.12, and this is 4.12. So when I find the perimeter, so the perimeter of PQRS is 2 times 4.12 plus 2 times 10 equals 28.24 units. Now, why did I say 2 here? Because there are 2 sides that I know are congruent, and there are 2 lengths that are 10. But that's it. So the only additional step that you're doing is that you are finding multiple sides in one question, and then adding the sides together. So let's look at it again. Again, this time the rectangle or the parallelogram is drawn for you. And we're going to label our sides. So W is -4, -3. X is -1, -7. Y is 4, 3, and Z is 7, -1. So again, these two sides are congruent and these two sides are congruent, so I only have to find, I'm going to find YZ, and then I'm going to find WY, because then I can just multiply by 2. And that's the bell. So I'm going to finish this video, but I will finish the examples and post them on online.